Queen. Of course, this is right here on Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody's having themselves a great day. Manifesting, Basics Revisited. I thought it was probably just a good idea just to circle back around on this topic, and probably should do this every so many months. One of the benefits of being a longtime listener for many of you out there are you will probably hear me from time to time sort of regurgitate similar information again. Now, granted, I don't think I could do the same show twice in a row and actually repeat what I said verbatim. In fact, I've had to re-record shows many a time and not been able to duplicate exactly what I did. So, again, that's, one of the benefits of being a longtime listener. Of the fact that I'm kind of a growing channel, well, that kind of means that oftentimes people will come in and chime in and say, hey, can you do a video on the basics? And be like, well, I've done about 5 of them so far. But again, when they turn around and ask me which video is it, it's hard for me to find out what video it is. So, here we go. We're going to kind of revisit the basics, and for those of you that are a little more on the advanced side, either you don't have to listen, but I think it's probably not a bad idea to revisit this with me, because frankly, one, I might say something I haven't said before. That's my hope and intention. But two, it just kind of reinforces what you already are doing and make sure you're kind of, playing along at home on the home version here. So, manifesting basics. Of course, we like to start with the standard Neville Goddard concept of imaginal work. So I'd kind of been following what's up with my breathing? There we go, see if that helps. But what kind of goes back to, originally I was sort of studying law of attraction and kind of came across Goddard through a mutual friend who kind of introduced me to Agnes. So really that's how my whole Goddard thing kind of came together. And the imaginal piece was the missing piece of my whole world, of my circle. Now, again, I am not solely a Goddard person. I am not solely a law of attraction person. I've got very deep roots in spirituality. I was brought up Christian initially and then kind of spun into this whole spiritual thing. So that is my roots. That is my heritage. I learned a lot of my manifesting techniques prior to law of attraction and prior to Goddard. So I was just doing stuff, and a lot of it was sheer determination, what you think, what you say, what you do. I knew those concepts were involved, but Goddard spoke it so well, did it beautifully. So really the whole concept, where you start this whole thing off, is your imaginal work. You imagine whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. Specific someone is very common. Relationships in general. New job, more money, new car, new house. Doesn't matter. A vacation. Truly does not matter what it is. You use the same practice, the same techniques, and it works beautifully. Now, there are some caveats. We'll try to cover those when I'm in the proper sections. But for as far as imaginal work, the caveat for this one, you want to try to use your 5 senses. Taste can be challenging sometimes, so don't get frustrated if you're not able to use all 5, right? If you're using 2 or 3 of them, that's pretty darn good, and you're probably fine. If you're using 4 of them, fantastic. If you have somehow figured out how to incorporate taste into law of attraction, good on you. There's a number of different ways. Maybe if you're imagining going to a restaurant, you can imagine the taste of the food, but really what you want to do, let's grab the relationship as one example, and maybe we'll grab one other. But you want to imagine a situation where you're with this individual in a date scenario. It's probably a good thing. If you're trying to start a relationship, even if it's someone that you've already been with, try to imagine this relationship. Maybe it's a little on the romantic side. Maybe you can envision, the glasses of wine sitting in front of each of you. Maybe what he's done with his hair, or what she's got in her hair as far as maybe the clip, or maybe the, I don't know all the fancy little hair terms, whatever. Kind of pay attention to how she's got her hair done up, maybe her jewelry, maybe he's got some sort of watch on, right? Who knows? Try to imagine it. Maybe imagine the clothes, imagine the smile on his face, imagine the look in his eyes when you're staring into his eyes and you're looking into his soul. Imagine how you're feeling through this whole process. Now, again, the feeling's a very important part, so make sure that's incorporated into this. You're imagining this with as much detail as possible. You're trying to imagine conversations that you're going to be having. You're trying to imagine maybe them saying something like, I can't wait to see you again. We've got to do this again soon. Imagine that phrase coming out of their mouth more than once. Imagine it to the best detail you can about a scenario that would basically be a wonderful experience for you and this individual. this whole concept of imagining that is meant to kind of imply there's sort of relationship potential. It implies that maybe finances are in line, that this can happen. It implies that they're close enough to you to be able to go out. Like, it's going to help create any sort of missing pieces that might be currently present, and this is why you're trying to manifest. It will kind of close those gaps for you. It will help. That's the beauty of doing it. If you're trying to manifest a car, we've talked about this before. Imagine yourself sitting in the car. Imagine the smell of the leather. Imagine the sound of the sound system. Imagine cruising. Imagine backing out of your garage, whatever the case is. Imagine it with as much detail as you possibly can. The feel of it, the way the steering wheel feels in your hand, the whole 9 yards. Now, in the case of a car, sometimes maybe imagining all that might be difficult. So you can always get things like your thought, what do they call them? Thought wheels, or your imagination wheels, for whatever. I've got a notebook for it where I put in maybe pictures of what it is that I'm trying to imagine. But in the case of a car, maybe go down and test drive one, just so you can get a really true mental image of what it's like to drive that vehicle. And use that image as your imaginary practice, right? So again, specific someone, a car, a job, maybe you're imagining you're doing that specific kind of work. You're imagining it with as much clarity as you can. Now, one of the keys with the imaginal process, at least in my mind, a good place to kind of gauge, have I done this often enough? Have I done enough imaginal work to really bring this manifestation to fruition? And in my mind, really, the second that you can really see it clearly in your mind, when you close your eyes in your mind's eye, can you see this situation clearly? Can you see you and your specific someone together with little complexity, little difficulty, I should say? Can you see yourself driving the car without any sort of difficulty? Is it clear? Can you literally see it? You can see your hands on the wheel. It's from your perspective. Also keep that in mind. Try to imagine from your perspective and your vantage point. Now, one of the other keys too, and I'll circle back to the clarity of it, but I just remember this is a very important part. Try to imagine from that situation. Now, we'll use the specific person as an example. You're imagining being with them at this meal, and then also, just to take it one step further, imagine you imagining yourself before you were together. Meaning, you're in that place, you're imagining from the location where you and your specific person are together, and then you can imagine maybe the conversation with them about how a month ago it was so weird because I didn't know I'd ever see you like this, and I just imagined how great it would be being with you, and here we are. So you're imagining that from that location, you're imagining where you are currently while you're doing the imaginal work, right? So you're imagining into the future, if you will, and then from the future, you're imagining back to your current time or the past relative to the future, right? In doing that, it creates kind of a neat little imaginary bridge. And I think, for the most part, at least best I can tell at this point, one of the key things that really does is it helps bridge our now with our then. But there are still challenges that come along with that, and we will get into those coming up as well. But again, once your imaginal exercise has brought about a very clear picture, frankly, at that point, you don't need to do any more imaginal work. A lot of people, especially when it comes to significant someones, want to keep doing this over and over and over. If it comes to manifesting your car, a lot of people will frequently feel like they need to keep imagining this over and over and over. Where I caution you is if you feel like you need to imagine this over and over and over, ask yourself one key question. Why do I feel like I need to do this over and over and over? Now, you need to be honest with yourself, because a lot of people leave comments, and I don't believe people are being truly honest with themselves. I think they're trying to say what is correct, not necessarily what's really happening. So this is totally on you. You have to be as honest as you can. If you're trying to manifest something and you want to see it happen, and maybe you're gaining some frustration because it's not happening quick enough, the more honest you can be with yourself, the better off you're going to be as far as manifesting your desires. You can lie to yourself, you can lie to universe, you can lie to me, you can lie to Anyas, you can lie to whoever you want. You could be talking to Tony Robbins and lie straight to his face about what you're really doing in reality. Trust me, that's not helping you at all. Not even a little. Doesn't matter. Universe isn't going to give any special points for faking out me or faking out Anyas or faking out Tony Robbins, right? Maybe if you faked out Chuck Norris, that'd be impressive because nobody fakes out Chuck Norris. When Chuck Norris falls into a puddle, Chuck Norris doesn't get wet. The puddle gets Chuck Norris. I'm sorry. For those of you, probably no one ever got into that whole Chuck Norris thing. It was hilariously funny and hilarious too. It's one of those. Anyway, get back on process. Come on, Dan. Jeez, come on. So really, when we are trying to manifest something and we need to ask the basic question, why do I keep feeling like I need to do this over and over? Why do I feel like I need to do this day after day after day after day? Ask yourself that question and be honest with your answer. If your answer is, I just feel like I'm putting more efforts towards it, I just feel like it's kind of helping me out, makes me feel better, okay, yeah, I'm fine with that, whatever, keep doing it, that's fine. If it has anything to do with the fact, well, it's not happened yet, I want to see it happen faster, anything along the lines of, it's not happening quick enough, it's not happened already, something like that. Maybe you're being super negative. There's a reason where I think it would be beneficial. If you're constantly being negative about this whole thing, it'd probably be good to throw some extra imaginal work in there because it's going to counterbalance the negativity. But if you feel like you're doing it because you're not going fast enough, it's not happening quick enough, you don't have it yet, you keep noticing that it doesn't exist currently, so you do the work again, those are the times where you really need to stop and you need to kind of get into the next phase of this, which is trust the process. Trust the process. We start small. For those of you that have never done manifestation work, start small. Try to manifest a parking lot. Try to manifest like a parking space at the mall or at the local grocery store. Try to imagine maybe someone just giving you a $5 bill or a bottle of water. Try to imagine maybe that traffic signal that's always red. Try to make it green next time you drive through. Manifest that green light. Imagine it green. Imagine driving through it. Imagine going, woohoo, it's green. Start small. If you haven't done the small stuff, go back to the small stuff before you even try something harder. Trust me, you're really going to make this very difficult on yourself and cause a lot of frustration and possibly cause yourself to walk away from law of attraction and say, this doesn't work. And it does work. There's lots of people that comment about it, and it's not like we all got together and we have secret meetings and we're like, all right, anybody that doesn't know how to do this, just tell them we can. Tell them how. Tell them this is what you do. And then when they get frustrated, just tell them, hey, just think positive thoughts. Hey, just do this. Hey, just do your affirmations. Hey, self-love. No, that's truly good advice. That's why we keep saying it, because that's what most of us forget to do. Trusting in the process means you realize this works. You've done the imaginal work. You've imagined the situation. You know this works. Let it play out. It's going to take days, weeks, maybe months. Depends on what mountains have to be moved in order to make this work. Now, if you're just trying to manifest $5, you'll probably get that quickly. Trying to manifest a relationship with someone that's currently in a relationship, it's going to take you a few months, maybe longer. It's okay. But you got to trust the process. You got to let it happen. Now, here's the beautiful part. If you've done the imaginal work and it's crisp, clear in your mind and you've stopped doing it, and then you're now at the I trust the process phase and literally can get through your day without second guessing, without constantly paying attention to what's going on right now, you'll actually manifest it very quickly and you don't need to do any additional work. Forget about it. Let go of it. It'll show up when it shows up. Start working on manifesting your next thing. But if you're someone that has a really hard time about consciously noticing that you don't have it already, I did the imaginal work yesterday. Why aren't they with me already? First off, generally doesn't happen that quickly. Just usually doesn't. It's real life we're dealing with here. It's not just willy-nilly, airy-fairy, I'm going to imagine this person being with me, and then immediately they call you on the phone and go, oh my God, I just broke up with my girlfriend and I totally want to be with you. First off, if they did, and then they're immediately calling you, that should be a red flag just right off the bat. Slow things down a little bit. That's going way too quick, all right? So again, the same thing. If you finally manifest that first date with each other, don't try to jump back into it way too quickly, or don't try to get moving way too fast because you've spent months fantasizing about being with this person. Now all of a sudden you're with them and you want to rush it along into the next phase and the next phase and the next phase. And I figure we had our first date and I'm figuring probably an hour and a half within the meal, we should be getting married. No, Doesn't happen like that either, right? Have your date, have another date or 2 or 3, a month down the road, maybe go on a road trip somewhere, like let it play out, let it happen. Let's try not to force it every step of the way, which also gets back into the trusting the process. Now, again, when we do this imaginal work, that's our higher self, just to try to cover all the topics that I keep talking about. That's our higher self. It's doing the work. It can see. It's like an eagle soaring above, right? And it can see way out in front of you. It can see all the higher selves of all the other people involved, and it can talk to them in advance. And it will. So the higher self's going to do all this wonderful work for you, and it can see miles and miles, and it's got clear, perfect vision. And our conscious self is very good at reacting to what's right now. Do I need to make a left turn? Do I need to make a right turn? Do I need more sugar in my coffee? Is there enough cream in it? What did I forget to get at the grocery store while I'm standing in line? Crap, I forgot butter. Okay. Yeah, conscious mind's awesome for that. Your conscious mind's horrible when it comes to manifesting. It's absolutely worthless, in fact. Except for the imaginal part, because you're doing that consciously, right? The rest of it's horrible. So we have to learn to kind of get the conscious mind under control, kind of let it be okay. Well, that's kind of where the trusting the process really, truly has to come into play. And you just got to remind your conscious self, whoa. You keep saying it's not here, but it's happening. It's in process. It is coming. We are coming together. My dream and me are heading towards each other, and we will connect. Now, you're going to get some coincidences. You're going to get some signs. You're going to get some great, groovy things along the way. Enjoy those. Use those, and especially when they happen, really remember them, because sometimes at first when we start to stumble and fall a little bit here and there, those successes are going to be what's going to help you get back up, dust yourself off, and keep cruising down the road towards your manifestation. Again, stop doubting the process and stop doubting everything along the way. Now, the other thing that seems to be very confusing for a lot of people is the act as if it's already happened. This is truly the final real step of it. The final step is act as if it's already happened. Now, people say, well, how can you let go and act as if it's already happening? I'm going to use an example that I think I used in one of my other videos, but it's a really good example. I'm manifesting my significant person. Now, although my significant person and I are probably not going to move into this particular place together, assuming we do, assuming I'm bringing her into my life, my movie, as I've called it before, I'm the lead actor in my movie, and she is going to be my star that I'm going to do my movie with. So, I'm going to manifest my specific person living with me. That's my manifestation, because if she's living here, obviously a lot of good things are happening between us. We're obviously waking up in bed together. We're obviously making dinners together. We're watching TV together. We're texting each other on a regular basis, probably talking on the phone. Like, all of these things are sort of implied by me manifesting her into my house, right? Boom. That's my manifestation. Now I'm going to let go of that. It's time to let go. How do I act as if that manifestation is going to occur without continuing to think about that manifestation? Well, so here's what I know. I'm trusting the process, and I'm kind of going to give you as best an example of how my mind would work with this. Okay, done the imaginal work. It's totally clear. I can see her. I can see waking up next to her and patting her on the butt right before I get out of bed to hop in the shower, right? I can see all that. So I stop thinking about it. But now what I do is, since I know she's coming, since I know she's going to be here, I start going, okay, well, she's going to need closet space for sure. So I've got a walk-in closet in my bedroom, and currently it's full of my clothes. So what I would do is I would start to make room for her by grabbing some of the clothes and maybe moving them into this room. I've got a closet in here. It's not a walk-in, but it's got room to put stuff in. I don't use it, right? So I'd grab some clothes out of my walk-in, and I would put them in here, making room for her. Maybe I would buy a set of sheets or a couple sets of sheets for that matter, that are a little more not just manly, even though mine aren't like G.I. Joe sheets or something cool like that. They're just boring guy sheets, like nothing fancy about them. In fact, they're like unicolor, basically. And then I got a comforter. That's got a few colors on it. But outside of that, boring. I'm not trying to match anything. I don't care. But that would be something I would consider doing. One thing I do currently have prepared for her right now in my wine fridge, I'm actually going to crack one of them open tonight as a celebration, because good stuff's going on in my world right now. I got 3 bottles of cake bread, which is her favorite Chardonnay, and it is a very delicious wine. It is super yummy. Got 3 bottles of that. Those are for when she comes to visit. I've been hanging on to them and, picking them up here and there whenever I've got the opportunity to do so. That is acting as if. Never once did I think about, is she going to be here? Ooh, I need to imagine her being here some more. No, that's been let go of. I'm okay with that. I know that's happening. Now what else do I need to plan? What else do I need to prepare for her to be here? That is acting as if. That is the secret. That's the key. When you're doing all of these things and you're truly making it through your day without questioning everything along the way, your manifestation is very close. Very close. You're almost there. So hopefully that covers the basics. I could probably do an hour on this. I'm looking at the clock going, crud, I'm 21 minutes into this. This is a very long video, and I'm very sorry for anyone that's still with me at this point. Eesh, really long. Anyway, hopefully that helps. I'm sure I will do more videos, and maybe I'll break down these pieces into individual little chunks. You know, we'll deal with the imagining, we'll deal with the letting go, the acting as if, the trusting the process. We'll do separate shows on all of those, keep it a little shorter and sweeter. But at least here's one place that I can say, hey, did you check out the Manifesting Basics Revisited? There's a good show that kind of goes over the basics and how to do it. Hopefully that makes a difference. Going out with a song that I have definitely played before, maybe twice already, I don't know, but it's such a cool song. It's by Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling. It's right here on Dan Radio Style.